You're mad because they're not going to release the product you want, but it's none of my business. Welcome back to Tech Trend Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Anthony Olan Tech, and I originally had one news topic for you today, but a little while ago I did get some other news today. So I'm gonna have a second news story for you today in this video. So we're gonna talk about two different things that's going on in the world of tech and gaming. Let's get right into it. So the first set of news for today is about a product that I had some feelings that it wasn't going to release this year, despite a lot of different rumors and leaks happening, and a lot of people were, speculating that this thing was coming out this year, and it turns out it's not. So what I'm talking about, of course, is Nintendo confirmed today that they are not, or yesterday Monday, confirmed that they are not releasing a Switch Pro or any other new Switch models. And there's no real information in terms of if they're going to release anything next year because we're still at the beginning of this year. So as far as this year is, there's no new versions of the Switch coming out. Now, what we may see instead is different designs for the current Switch that we have already released. If you don't remember, we did have a couple of different bundles throughout the Switch's lifetime with different colored Joy-Cons available. And we recently got a Fortnite Switch that came with a Fortnite pre-installed, and it had a Fortnite design with a blue and yellow Joy-Con. On February 12th, we are getting a Super Mario Switch. It comes with a carrying case and a screen protector, and it has it's the first ever Switch to be a different color, both the dock and the actual Switch itself. It's going to be a red Switch if you haven't heard about it now, with a blue Joy-Con grip. It looks pretty sweet. We did have a Animal Crossing Switch that released last year, and there's also an announcement for a Monster Hunter Switch coming out in Japan for the new Monster Hunter game. No information yet as if we're going to get that in the US, but for now, that is what they have so far planned. And we can definitely see different other bundles and different other designs coming out for the Switch within the next coming years. But when it comes to the Nintendo not releasing a brand new Switch model, or as everyone thought, a 4K Switch, a Switch Pro, you have to consider a couple of things with Nintendo. Number one is that while there was rumors and leaks that Nintendo was filing for patents for 4K versions of their games, supposedly, I think that if Nintendo did release a Switch Pro, a 4K Switch, to play your games in 4K, they of course have to increase the price of the Switch for purchase. And Nintendo clearly doesn't want to do that. They are still doing really great with their sales despite the console approaching its 4th anniversary. In November, when the next-gen consoles were released, the Switch still outsold those consoles. That could be due to, the number of consoles that were released for the next-gen, as well as the price difference between all the consoles, with the Switch coming in at a little over $200 cheaper than the other next-gen consoles. And when you look at Nintendo and their Switch, I don't think they want to charge more than the $299 for the standard Switch and more than $199 for the Switch Lite. The Switch Lite alone is amazing. It's a great price for the Switch. You can play pretty much every game there is for the Switch on the Switch Lite, and you're saving the extra $100. Of course, you don't get the TV mode. That's a given. But that's what Nintendo has going for them. They're getting huge sales with their standard Switch and the Switch Lite. Even I believe it was last year, or maybe even now, a couple years ago by now, they did update their Switch for a newer version with a much better battery. So if there is going to release a newer model of the Switch, I can see it only having more improvements that doesn't include improvements to the resolution. I think it'll just be another battery improvement or maybe a screen improvement. So I don't see Nintendo doing a 4K console anytime soon. And I think what they want to do is focus on the games. They want to focus on the games themselves. They want the third-party developers to focus on the games so that they can not only bring you their exclusives, but also bring you the third-party AAA games, multi-platform games, to be playable on the Switch as best as it can. Some games do require extra download, like Mortal Kombat 11 or LA Noire. So they want to do what they can to make the games run, as smoothly as they can on Switch. That also includes Witcher 3. It all fits on the card, no extra download. It runs pretty decent for it being on the Switch. And that's smart. While I understand wanting a new console, new system to have the newer specs and upgraded specs. Nintendo believes that it's in the games. You are there for the games more than the specs. You can have amazing specs with a crappy game or an amazing game with pretty good specs. And that's what Nintendo, I believe, is focusing on. And I agree with that decision. Now, there were some games that were, being delayed and pushed back and have no information on. Recently, I talked about Bayonetta 3. It went from being right on time for development release and having all this information to having, hey, just forget about it for now type of attitude from the creator of the game. Metroid Prime was redone its development, so that's going to be a little bit longer to come out. There was rumors of a Metroid Prime trilogy for the fourth game to come out. There hasn't been anything since then. So while some of these games are being pushed back and we have no information on them, Breath of the Wild sequel is another one. Um, I think what they are doing is good. They want to take this time to get their games out that they were supposed to release and that they want to release. So that's what's good. That's it for the Nintendo news. In terms of that, now the second part of this video has to do with Google Stadia. Not many people use Stadia. There's some people who don't even know what Stadia is. I have a Stadia. I don't really use it. I know someone who does use Stadia, but it turns out that Google is shutting down their first party development company, or basically what they're saying is any games for Stadia that Google is developing or was going to develop is not going to happen. But that doesn't mean Stadia is going to be gone. At the moment, it's not gone. It just means that any game coming to Stadia is the third party developers, whether it's Bungie or Square Enix, Ubisoft, any other games that do come out on Stadia. They will continue to release on Stadia. But in terms of Google making their own games for Stadia, they're shutting down that part of the project, that part of the company. So Google, I guess, is not really feeling too strongly about their ability to develop games for Stadia, which is not a good sign considering that they were really pushing for Stadia to be a new console. And I guess the sales number shows, even to the point where I was given a free Stadia just for signing up for a YouTube membership or something like that. So they Google does this a lot. They give away their stuff for free sometimes, but the Stadia numbers are not doing as well as the other console numbers, and I think it's because we're still not at the point where people are ready to stream their games from the internet. I think people still want to download them to have a smooth experience, no lags, no buffering or anything. So that's kind of like, from what I was told, the first steps in shutting down the whole Stadia. I don't think that's the case right now, but we don't know what can happen. That could come to be true in the future. So that's my video for today. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you guys are having a good day, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.